Here's a question. Will you be ending the year referral strong? Okay, do you actually even know what that means? Well, let's talk about it in today's episode.
You are not just another hustling salesperson. You are the expert, the resource, the valuable partner for your clients. And how you grow your business should reflect how your clients see you. Welcome to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. We generate referrals without asking, build positive client experiences, and help you take control of your business. Here's your charmingly sarcastic host, Stacey Brown Randall.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 179 of the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Brown Randall. When I talk about, and it always seems to happen this time of year, the concept of ending the year strong. Obviously, I also want you to end the year referral strong, but I always find it fascinating in conversations with people as to what they think I mean by that. And typically, the response I'm going to receive is, oh, right, the tactics, the strategies, the things I need to be doing before the end of the year to help me end the year referral strong, or to make sure I'm getting myself set up to have a strong referral year next year. And why, yes, that's all true. And I'll mention some strategies and tactics towards the end. It's actually bigger than that. And I think that's at the moment when business owners are like, that sounds like work. And guess what? So is every day of running your business. There are parts of it that just feel like work. But those work parts can feel better depending on what you're doing. So when I talk about someone being referral strong, it is actually more than just the couple of strategies and tactics you should probably be considering doing between now and the end of the year, which I know for those of you who are sitting there saying, just tell me the what to do, I'll get to you. I'll get there. But I want you guys to just kind of take a step back and look at this a little bit different. You need to consider what you want your business to look like moving forward to help you figure out what you need to put in place. I think the things that people don't always pay attention to is that some of the things we need to do are the things we've known we need to have been doing for months or years, and we just don't get around to it. So to kind of relate this to my business, my life within my business, is that most of you guys know that I like to set an intention word at the beginning of every year or at the end of the year for next year, right? And I've had a variety of intention words like fearless and focused and disciplined. I did not like that word. So it sounded like punishment, not the point of a whole intention word to drive your year's behavior. But last year, at the end of last year, for 2021, I set my intention word to be fix it. Because there were a number of things in my business, whereas business is great and doing well, there was just a number of things that I kind of always knew in the back of my mind I needed to get back and fix. The process was like 80% working, but it could be 100%. But because as an entrepreneur, I strive not for perfection, but for execution, there are times where things have to be good enough and go. But then there is the tendencies of me that are like, but I do want to get back around to maybe making that better or refining that process, etc. So fix it was my word. And there were a number of things in my business that I wanted to fix. I didn't want to build new. I didn't want to create anything brand new. I wanted to take what was working and make parts of it a little bit better. And then this year unfolded in a way I didn't really see coming. And where I did fix a lot of things. There's like 73 things, I think, on my fix it list. And probably by the end of this year, I will have accomplished at least 40 to 45 of them, which sounds like a lot, and it is. It doesn't mean I checked every box, but that's okay. I'm extending a lot of grace to myself because a lot of those things that were on the list, as I got into fixing other things, I realized they didn't need to be fixed. But I'm telling you all of this because what I'm going to talk to you about, I'm going to guess is something you already know you should be considering doing. So I'm going to relate this, of course, to the whole concept of you finishing your year referral strong, which is important, but it starts at a different place than you're probably thinking. When we are thinking about our business, we know there are things that we need to be doing that we're not making time and space for. A lot of times that's the things that would be working on our business instead of in our business. It's easy to get caught up in the daily emails and the client needs and the prospects rolling in, which is awesome, right? Even taking care of our referral sources, like doing all the things we need to do to just kind of make it through that day, that week, that month, that quarter. But then there's this list of things that are kind of gnawing at the back of our brains, right? They're just kind of there. They're just kind of like, hey, you need to do these things because it will make your life better and easier moving forward. And so when I talk about ending the year referral strong, what I really mean is you looking at your business and making sure it's actually referable. I teach people every day how to receive more referrals from either the people who've already referred them, their existing referral sources, or the potential referral sources, the people they want to refer them. And I always give this disclaimer, typically when I'm on somebody else's podcast, about what I'm going to teach you about how to get more referrals from your existing referral sources or start getting referrals from your potential referral sources. It comes down to this concept of you actually being referable. And earlier this year in the summer, we did like this 15-part series all around the client experience. Because the client experience is a big part of you being able to almost set the tone, I guess tone is probably the right word. It's being able to set the tone of referrals coming from your client experience. And I don't mean you're going to try to train your clients to refer you. That's terrible. Don't think about it like that. That's not what this is at all. But there are moments in your client experience that are allowing you to actually be in a position and a place to where your clients are thinking about and actually referring you. But that really comes down to overall how you're building your business and all the facets of that business. And there are lots of things we need in place and things we need to fix and solve. And the list can be overwhelming at times when we think about all the different pieces it takes to run our business, to make it a referable business. All the things we got to do. Your checklist is probably like my fix-it list. It's like 70-something things long, right? Okay, maybe yours isn't that bad. Maybe it's just like 30. 30 is still a lot. You can't even do one a month and knock it off the list and complete the entire list in 12 months, right? So we know there's these things we need to do. And if we're lucky and we've been able to hire people, we also know we have teammates that we can hand stuff off to. And that's really important too. But for you solopreneurs, you can't. You're doing it all yourself. So you have to have priorities on what you're going to attempt to tackle. And there are always going to be moments where you're just going to deal with what you have to deal with, the fires in front of you and the client work in front of you, and ignore everything else that would make your life easier because you just don't have the time and space. Those moments will happen. The problem is, as business owners, usually you're letting yourself live in that space way more months out of the year than you should be. So you're never making progress on the things that would make your life easier. And building a referable business is a huge part of making your life easier. But there are probably things you need in place to ultimately get there. So when I talk about ending the year referral strong, yes, I want you to take care of your referral sources, and I want you to do it the right way. And I want you to do it the best way. But I also want you to take a step back and look at your business from a 30,000-foot view. Look down on it. Ask yourself, as a client, what is it like to work with you? What are the processes? What are the procedures, right? How do you manage all the pieces of running your business? And how well would you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 about being referable? And this is so much bigger than just getting referrals from the people who've already referred you. This is about building a business that doesn't let you have an opportunity to miss out on a potential referral because you have all the strategies, all the tactics, all the processes in place across multifaceted things that you want, or the multifaceted places where you want to be capturing referrals. And it's all running like a well-oiled machine. For years now, almost a decade, I've been teaching people specific strategies when it comes to referrals. But when I work with people one-on-one, right, either they're at the VIP level or right, we're doing some type of training together, there's the opportunity when they just ask questions that I'm not normally typically asked, right? When you're just going through maybe one of my online programs. And when you think about those opportunities where something kind of bubbles up to the top, it's always connected to referrals in some way, but typically outside of what should I do for my referral sources? Like, what should I say here? What should I do here? And it typically goes back to a little bigger question about just making the business a little bit better. so that it's actually easier to receive referrals. And those are the conversations I just don't get to have all the time with folks, whether you're in my programs and it's online, it's just not part of the curriculum because I can't overwhelm you with every single thing in one individual program. That would be crazy, right? That's like a curriculum designer's like first big red flag to building curriculum is you don't overwhelm them. You help them make progress. And so when you're thinking about your business and you're thinking about how you want to end 2021 and you're thinking about how you want to start 2022, I want you to consider what you need to be doing better when it comes to referrals. And it could just be taking better care of your referral sources. It could also be being more referable throughout the work that you do for your clients or your client experience that puts you in a position to receive more referrals because they're more likely to refer you. Take it all in. Think about it all. The majority of people, even though you listening today and all the hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of others that are going to be listening to this episode at some point in the future, you all have different businesses, but they all kind of operate in the same way, even if it's based on different industries. And there are always things that we can do that will make ourselves more referable. You may have a list of them like I did, right? And you may need to sit and think about them as well. But sometimes in these moments, I find the best thing you can do is just to close your eyes, not while you're driving, but close your eyes and imagine. Imagine what your business looks like and how it operates and what it does and what the processes are and how your clients feel and what it looks like from a referral perspective or any of your other business development strategies working and working well. Just imagine what your business should look like, could look like, will look like if you're willing to put in the work. Is there a place where your zone of genius and then the sweet spot of where your clients get results intersect? Can you look back as you're having your eyes closed and imagining what you want your business to look back, what you want your business to look like? Can you think back through over a time in 2021 that you maybe don't want to have to revisit or go through again? And by fixing or solving something, you can eliminate that problem? Are there things that were really awesome that happened in 2021 that you want to replicate moving forward? Think about it from a client growth perspective. Think about it from an internal operations perspective. Think about it from a strategic perspective of where you want to go, a financial perspective. This is the time of year where we're much more willing to stop, take a breath, look back, and figure out where we want to go. And you guys will get more and more into this as we get into December, right? And I'm going to walk you through it because we're going to start going through the reverse goal setting process once our December episodes start dropping. But just do a review. But do a review after you've just kind of allowed yourself to imagine what your business could look like. And think about this as well from a referable perspective. What I have found is that when I really allow myself to imagine my business to where I'm getting the very best results for my clients, where that is their sweet spot of what I offer to them, gives them the access to me that they need and my ability to help them move forward. And it's really in the sweet spot of where they are getting the best possible results. It's also in a sweet spot of how I'm delivering what my work looks like or what my business offerings look like. And it's coupled, of course, with me staying in my zone of genius, right? There's lots of things people ask me about. There's a few things that I am very, very sure of when I answer. And that's the zone of genius, right? That's where I need to stay. What would that look like for your business? What would it look like for you to operate your business from your zone of genius, coupled with your sweet spot of how you offer your services to your clients and get them the results that they need? I've been doing a lot of thinking about this. It wasn't something at the beginning of 2021 I actually thought I'd be thinking about at all. And then, for me, God, he's like, ha, 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 I have other plans. And he works in these wonderful, mysteriously, sometimes annoying ways. And a series of things that just transpired throughout my business this year that's forced me to start thinking about things differently. It's forced me to start thinking about how I want to show up for you. How do I want to show up for the people that want to build a referable business, that want to get referrals from their client experience, that want to make sure they're getting referrals from their existing referral sources and their potential referral sources. And then looking at how I've always offered it and looking if there's a better way. And there is. For me, there is. And we're starting to unveil that now. So if you're on our email list, you've been receiving, if you're opening and reading my emails, you've been receiving information on this new program we're rolling out that we're kicking off as a beta launch to kind of test it out to see how things go. And it is this thing called building a referable business. But I couldn't figure out what that looked like until I was in a place and space to think about it. And so some things happened that forced me to get to a place to think about these things. And I do very much believe that they happened because the guy upstairs had a plan. And these things happened that got me to a place to be able to close my eyes and think about, okay, then how do I want to show up? How do I want my weeks to look? How do I want to help my clients get the best that they can get? How much access to that does that mean they need to me? And it's actually more access to me, not less, which some of you may be thinking, I think that defeats the purpose of you not having to work as much. But figuring out what that looks like so that my clients get from me what they need while I'm staying in my zone of genius and a sweet spot of what I offer and can work in a way that allows me to bring my best self to the table. That's what I'm most excited about for 2022. I don't know how it'll go. We'll see. I'm excited about this new offering we have called Building a Referable Business. And if you're interested and you don't get my emails or you don't always open my emails, you can shoot me an email and I'd be happy to send you the information. We are just testing it out, a little 6-month trial run to see how it goes. There's not a particular date necessarily that you have to join by, but we are looking at it from this perspective of getting a couple of months under our belt before we open it up to everybody. And you really start seeing us start to promote it. So if you're interested, I would love to have a conversation with you. I can just email you some information about what it's about. But the idea here is that me figuring out where my zone of genius and my sweet spot of offerings is to allow my clients to have the best success. So in the almost decade that I've been helping business owners get more referrals, there is that place. There is the place where my zone of genius and my sweet spots mix, where they come together, they mix together perfectly, where I see my clients get the fastest and most sustainable results. And that's really when they apply all the things that I teach, but piece by piece, right? But they apply it all to their business. It's not just the referral plan, but it's also in the client experience. It's also with the testimonials. It's also with the situational referral strategies that they need to know how to use in moments. It's also with involving their team to help in the execution and potential referral sources. Yeah, it's all those things. And that place where they get the best results, the most sustainable results, the fastest results is when they have access to me in an ongoing way, but also access to all the things that I teach so they can truly build a referable business. But they didn't build it all at one time, right? We all know that is a complete and total recipe for overwhelm and total abandonment of what we said we were going to do. But being able to go step by step at your own pace, and of course, following a roadmap that's laid out for them. And I think that's the key. I think what I'm most excited about with building a referable business, with this combination hybrid of programs plus ongoing access to me every week, right, is that where you start is different from the person driving the car next to you will start. It is different from the person who's halfway across the world who's working in a different industry will start. Where you start with building a referral business starts with where you are. We're not building anything from scratch. We're using what you have and making it better and making it so that you have the things you need in place that allow you to be more referable. And so I think that's what I'm most excited about with building a referable business is watching people start at different places, creating a roadmap with me one-on-one in an onboarding call so you know where you're starting and then where you're going next, and you have a roadmap to follow, but also access to all of my programs. So when the roadmap says, okay, now let's go work on your client experience, you're like, here I go. And then you can come back to me every week through our group sessions, like consider them like open office hours, where you can come be with me, see me, hello, over Zoom, right? And get your questions answered as you're making progress on your roadmap. And then, of course, being able to have additional milestone calls with me as you're making that progress. But this is a totality, right? The truth is, if you want to know how to get more referrals from the people who are referring you, you can join Growth by Referrals, right? GBR. If you want to make sure your client experience is going to make you referable, you can certainly join my other program, Sticky Client Experience. And if you want to know how to turn clients and contacts into new referral sources, well, right, you're going to join Turning Clients and Contacts into Referring Machines. There's always a program that's going to help you with a piece of this. Building a referable business, this program plus ongoing access and support from me is giving you access to all that and a couple of more. We're actually launching Testimonials Made Easy. We're actually redoing Sticky Client Experience. It'll be available for people in building a referable business. And we've added a couple other parts to it. But having access to all of that, all of the scripts, all of the situations, all the things, right? Through building a referable business. But having access to me as you go through it so you know you're implementing what's right for your business on the right timetable for you. And that is where I see people make the fastest, right? That's where I see people make the fastest results or have the fastest success. There's been tons of people who don't necessarily need access to me to have the results they want. I've got lots of those people in my program, and I love you self-starters. I love you people who can go through an independent, right, online study course and be like, got this, nail it, here are my results, Stacey. Like, you guys rock. But we're not all built that way. And when we're thinking about something of a totality perspective of, hey, I want to be a referable business, there's a lot of facets to that. It's not just one strategy. So we are allowing people to have access to me and to what they need to be successful in this. And it's just a different way of offering, right, my zone of genius mixed in with the sweet spot of where my clients get the best results. And there's a mix there. But every business owner needs to find their mix. And some of you have already found it. You've been doing it for years. You got your mix. You're like, done, check. I got my mix, my mix of where my sweet spot is, how I want to offer and what my clients need, and my zone of genius of where I'm at my best. And I get my clients the best results. Some of you have been living in that zone of genius meets sweet spot for a really long time. I think I've been dabbling around it. I think that I have figured out what my zone of genius is. And I definitely thought I had a couple of my sweet spots figured out of how my clients need to learn from me. But as I do more and more one-on-one work with my VIPs or watching people go through my online courses, my online programs where I don't always get to talk to them and have communication with them, and figuring out there's got to be a bridge. There's got to be a place in the middle to help everybody else. And that's one of the things I'm most excited about. And that's what makes me super excited for building a referable business. But whether you're interested in building a referable business, if you are, shoot me an email, make a comment in the Referrals Without Asking Facebook group. I'd love to send you more information, or not, right? I do want you to take a minute and just stop and think to yourself, if I wanted to be referral strong next year, what are the things I probably need to fix or do different or start doing in my business? And for those of you who are with me to this point and you're thinking to yourself, just give me the tactic, right? I think you're kind of missing the bigger picture. But here are a couple of things I tell folks to do when it's coming up on the end of the year and we're thinking about our referral sources, is just make sure they know how much you appreciate them. If you're in my Growth by Referrals program, you know exactly what that looks like, right? You know exactly what we do at the end of every year, the beginning of every new year to take care of our referral sources. But for the rest of you, identify who your referral sources are from this year and make sure you're doing something to say thank you. It really is quite that simple. If you don't have an overall strategy you're working from and you're looking for that one tactical idea you can deploy right now, that's what I would tell you to do. Figure out who's referred you this year and make sure you're doing something to say thank you before the end of the year. I'm not saying it has to be a gift. I'm just saying figure out a way that works for you to say thank you before the end of the year. Do you need to do more? Oh my God, of course. But I know some of you are like, just tell me the one thing. There's the one thing to end the year referral strong. But this is actually a bigger conversation. It's bigger than just one individual tactic. This is the way you build your business, and you know that it grows in the easiest way possible. And now I'm just going to be able to offer a different way to support you as you get there. And I'm super excited. So come at me through either a private message or a direct message on social media, whether it's through LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram. Of course, hop into the Referrals Without Asking Facebook group if you want to just post in there, be like, hey, Stacey, send me some information on building a referable business. I'm interested. Or, of course, reply back to any email I've ever sent you, and I will definitely send you some information. I'd love to work with you. We're not taking a huge group. This isn't hundreds of people who are going to be able to get in, right? This is a much, much, much smaller group of humans, particularly for this beta launch. We're so excited. We've got some spots already taken. I can't wait to maybe have you in there as well if it's right for you. But let me give you all the information. Just email me and let me know that you're interested. And of course, if you are currently a member of one of my programs like Growth by Referrals and you want to join building a referable business, just let me know. We have some special options for you to consider since you're already a client of ours. All right. So if you're interested, don't forget, let me know. And I'll list out all these places where you can contact me in the show notes for this episode, staceybrownrandall.com/179. That's 179 for episode 179. All right. Coming up next week is episode 180. And so it's going to be a Q&A episode. And I have a very, very powerful question. It's a very long question, but good. Lots of good questions packed into this one question that we are going to tackle next week for referrals in episode 180. And then after that, we're going to start diving into our reverse goal setting process. So switching gears for a couple of weeks as we dive into our reverse goal setting process. But before we get there, right, we've got episode 180 coming up next week. It is another Q&A episode like we do for almost every 10th episode. I look forward to being able to answer this question that was submitted to me and hearing you guys come back next week. All right, until then, my friend, take control and grow your business. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Roadmap to Grow Your Business podcast. To access all resources and links mentioned in today's show and to connect with Stacy, head over to www.stacybrownrandall.com.